What's up, guys? I'm Allie,
I'm Alex.
and this is
Pretty problematic. Okay, welcome back for another episode. We have something a little different this week.
Yep.
Exciting.
And we're really excited. We're going to do a movie review today, kind of like what we talked about last week. We're just going to try something new and see how it goes. And we found a movie that we thought is really good for our podcast and what we like to talk about.
Yeah, so it's a movie review, but if you haven't watched it before, probably don't listen further because there's lots of spoilers because we're kind of like analyzing it and going into like deeper meanings and how it relates to a lot of real life topics. So
Yeah, exactly. So this isn't going to be a classic movie review. This is going to be a deep dive analysis into the movie. And it's not a new release, so I'm not too worried about
Yeah.
people not having seen it. But if you haven't seen it yet, you can stay and watch, but there are going to be spoilers. So if you don't want to have the spoiler, go watch the movie first, then come back and you can kind of join our little discussion here about this movie because it's really interesting and there's a lot of topics that we want to deep dive into.
Yes. Okay, so the movie is Don't Worry, Darling, directed by Olivia Wilde.
And the cast is with Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Chris Pine, Gemma Chan, Olivia Wilde, and Kiki Lane.
Yeah, so honestly, what drew me to watch the film was Harry Styles, of course.
You sent me a list of movies, and I was like, oh, Don't Worry, Darling. Isn't that the one with Harry Styles?
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, I know Alex is going to want to watch this.
I did watch it years ago when it came out because of that reason, but I had to refresh my memory.
It's been a long time. I think I watched it when it came out, so
yeah,
I remembered it, but it had been so long that I was like, oh, let's watch it again.
Yeah.
Let's get, some notes going and deep dive.
Yeah, I have a bad habit of never like finishing movies, so I don't think I finished it before because I was like, whoa, I was surprised at the twist. So
okay,
maybe
so you just turn on a movie and you just don't finish.
That's how I always do.
How do you
You
do
should
that?
see my Netflix. It's like, I don't know, like 30 minutes.
Okay, we're gonna change you,
Yeah.
obviously, because now when we
have
do
to watch
movie
movies.
reviews, you're gonna have to watch the full thing.
It's a struggle. It took me hours to finish it because like, I'm getting distracted. That's okay.
I don't know what I have.
distracted
when I watch TV shows more, especially obviously ones that I've already seen.
And it's hard to get into a TV show sometimes because it's like,
yes, unless
takes
it's
a while.
really binge worthy, and then that's rare nowadays. I feel like they just put out anything.
Yeah, and if they're only like 8 episodes, I feel like they do have to do things pretty fast, so then it gets addicting or captivating your interest. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but
anyways, so
we're
there's
definitely be
that.
watching the full movie from now on, Alex. So yeah, we're gonna kind of just dive into this movie. I did want to say though, it did not do very well in
I remember hearing that.
it didn't do very well,
No.
which I don't agree with the rating it got. On Rotten Tomatoes, it got a 38%. That's
crazy.
not good.
That's
at
really
all.
bad.
That's really bad.
It was like really weird, but it's like psychological thrillers always are kind of weird. So I wonder why it was so low. I mean,
I think when I read it, it was that the acting was bad.
okay, yeah. I mean, Harry Styles is not an actor,
No,
but
I don't think he did very well, honestly, in this.
also
His character was kind of just
and he's kind of like the bad guy too. So.
Yeah, but bad guys can be good
That's true.
characters and still have good moments.
Yeah.
I didn't love his acting performance, but I really liked hers.
No, she was really good. I know, and
I
like
thought she was great.
obviously Chris Pine is a very good actor. So it's like
amazing actor.
that's surprising.
And then Olivia Wilde. I love Olivia
Yeah,
Wilde
same.
in everything. But I genuinely will give a rating at the end. I don't think it's as low as what everyone was saying.
I thought there was like so many cool like deeper meanings and parallels to real life and kind of just society and stuff. So I thought it was really good because it made me think, and it definitely was a psychological horror thriller. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused because I thought maybe more people would talk about it.
Yeah,
like
but it kinda
Obsession. This is very Obsession coded.
It was.
It's very parallels.
There was a lot of those type of, I don't know, like toxic behaviors and gaslighting and things that men do, kind of like Obsession. So I'm surprised. Maybe it just
It
really
like a
is
different
just,
take on
that's
Obsession,
what I'm saying.
I think.
It might have just it's usually just kind of luck of the draw a lot of times, like if it hits hard with the right audience. So
it really just fell flat, honestly.
Yeah.
So
sadly.
But I do suggest watching this film. I thought it was like she said, it did make me think. So we're
It
going
was
to go
good.
into it, and hopefully it gives you a little kick to go watch it or rewatch it, since we also had to do that. But so we're going to go into the setting a little bit. This movie is set up in like a utopian setting. It's like 1950s. All of the wives are dressed in dresses and their hair is up. It's totally 1950s.
Yeah.
And I love the costumes, love the makeup. I really thought it brought that
Yeah.
feeling. And the TVs and the cars. Yeah.
Like kind of like that typical perfect American family white picket fence. Like that's it. It gave, and I always wanted to live in the 50s. So I don't, you can
Me
totally
too.
feel that.
Except
Like
for
it's,
like the bad parts of the 50s, obviously. But
yeah, but I mean like in general, like the fashion and like
yes.
just having that simple life. I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, totally. But I did love the setting. I loved they're all in the middle of nowhere, blocked off from the world.
Kind of like California desert, palm desert vibes, you know? So,
Yeah, it's giving me like Fallout vibes. I don't know if you've seen that, but you should watch that. It's a TV show. It's based on a video game, but they're all like out in the middle of nowhere, and it's kind of giving that as the setting, at least the setting, not really the characters, but
yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool. But yeah, so the premise of the movie is it's basically a mystery where Alice, who is the main character, she's a housewife to Harry Styles. And in this movie, he's named Jack. And she notices strange events that start happening, and she's kind of losing touch with reality in her head. And then she starts to question the town's rules, and like she starts to question her reality that she's living in.
Yeah, because like everything, like they wake up, it's like the same routine, it's expected. She's cleaning, nothing seems to be changing. Also, this weird, like, it's not really clear where the noise is coming from. There's like a voice kind of like directing, like programming them, kind of be like, without the struggle, you're not going to get success. And like, it's all worth it. You can't just stand still. Just all this motivational.
Yeah, it's and the TVs are always set to Frank talking, which Frank is the leader of this town that we're in. And he's just talking and like giving motivational basically like speeches. She's listening to them in the morning as she cooks her husband food.
It's like programming kind of.
Yeah, totally.
And like Ali said, it's like Frank is kind of, I guess, the head of the company, they say. Like all of the men are working for him. So he is in control of everything.
Yes. And in this town, only men work. There's not one woman in there working. They're all just cleaning the house, making the food, having the children, and then going to weird exercise classes and clubs, like country clubs.
Yeah, same thing every day.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to kind of dive into this a little bit. So Alice, she is living this life that we just talked about, this routine, everything. And then a new wife comes into the town, right? And she's really odd.
Well, odd, but she just doesn't fit in the typical mold. She's not conforming to what everyone else believes. So everyone's kind of talking bad about her and like saying she's like crazy.
Yeah, the first place we see her is in their ballet class.
Yeah.
Which this is a weird part of the film, but like I really liked this. I thought it was really cool how they kept bringing that part in.
Yeah.
All the ballet, all the ballerinas. But yeah, the first time they see her is in there. This really dramatic moment where she walks in and everybody stares at her all together, like all robots. And they see her and yeah, she's not conforming. She's a little odd to them. They're all thinking she's weird. So that's kind of where it starts there. And Alice, then it goes into the scene where she is at home waiting for her husband. She's all dressed up and she's got the roast on the table and he comes in and it's all happy in the beginning and she gives him his meal. But we see in the first moment where she's kind of having like little breaks from this reality where she's humming that song.
Yeah. Humming the song that's like from their real life, which is in present day. So yeah,
but she doesn't remember this song. She's having like little
she's kind
flashbacks.
of like, why am I thinking of this?
But she's like, I can't remember what this song is.
And kind of just having like little disconnects, like seeing little glitches in it. The eggs like don't have anything in them. And then like I said before, like cleaning but nothing's, so just off, like little things. Okay, so like we said, this character Margaret, they all labeled her as kind of odd because she wasn't conforming. And so there was kind of a flashback moment or just explaining what had happened in the past with Margaret. She felt like she needed to go to the desert. She was having like a psychosis moment, hallucination.
She like brought her son
because it was like, felt like it wasn't safe. She needs to get out. And so from that point on,
then
she was mentally unstable. Yeah, so because she broke the rules.
So they took her son away.
I don't know if we said it, but the town is called Victory, which is kind of interesting. So the woman will say something wrong, kind of question things. People call her crazy, gaslight her, say, no, that didn't happen. You're
All the
just,
men are saying
all
that
the
to
men are
her.
saying that.
Yep.
Even the other wives, even
Yep.
some of them we find out later that they know, but they're still going along with saying, no, you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the woman starts doubting herself. And then it just goes on. So then Alice, like we said, Alice was starting noticing things that don't make sense as well. It's interesting the like group dynamics, you know, like pressure, peer pressure.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's like
So,
groupthink.
Group.
That's what it is.
Groupthink.
Groupthink, where, yeah, everyone believes in whatever they're believing in. And if one person doesn't,
it's like
they're the outcast.
Yeah.
And then they're crazy. And that must be the only reason why. And so they get gaslit. They get told that they're in psychosis, that they should be medicated. And this happens in real life too. Exactly. But obviously that this movie, they're not in a real world.
Not to this extremes, but like we said, the parallels, kind of like these same patterns exist.
Scary. Yeah, exactly. I mean, in any movie we talk about or are gonna talk about, you're gonna see there are always, movies are based off of real thoughts and real people make these movies. So obviously there's always gonna be something that can relate to the real world, but exaggerated, I feel. So yes, you're right. So Margaret, she kind of ruins a party that Frank is throwing. She says that they're not safe. And then her husband, Ted, tears her away. And then Alice sees her again and she tells her, no, I'm not okay. Like, this is not okay. And he just pulls a drape. And then, yeah, after Margaret does that at the party, then Alice goes home and she actually has like one of her first nightmares. And so that's kind of when she starts doubting it and starts leaning into those suspicions that she kind of had in the first part of the movie. But like the big part where she kind of starts breaking down is when she goes on a trolley ride. And the reason she goes on this trolley ride is because she had that nightmare
and she just needs to get some fresh air.
Get out. Yeah. And she doesn't get off at the stop where she normally does, and the trolley ride's like, no shopping today. And she's just like, no, I need fresh air. And he gets to the end and he's like, I'm about to turn around. She's like, okay, I'm just here for the ride. And then she sees a plane in the sky and she sees it overhead and then it crashes in the mountain. And at this point, the trolley driver is just sitting there like, no, I don't see it. We're going to go back. And she's like, are you kidding me? You need to drive over there. Someone's hurt. Like, we need to check it out. And he's like, no, I don't go that way.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, you got to be kidding me. And she gets out of the trolley and she just leaves her there. And she starts walking. She's walking for a really long time because this is a faraway mountain. And then she makes it all the way up the mountain, and this is where she sees headquarters for the first time. It's like this weird dome thing.
Yeah, like a dome on the top of the mountain, and that's one of the rules, supposedly. They're not supposed to go in the desert or to the headquarters or anything. So she goes up, obviously interested because she's like, what happened to the plane? Like, she's kind of doubting, questioning her reality.
Yep.
There's like this weird glass that she touches, and then from there she wakes up back at home.
Yep.
So
she has like little tiny visions of like someone carrying her back to her bed, but she wakes up and her husband's in the kitchen. He's now making dinner, which he doesn't know how to do.
You're so stressed. Just relax.
Exactly. She's like, how long have I been asleep? He's like, couple hours. Basically just gaslights her into thinking she's taking a nap.
Yeah.
You know what happened. Then when he's making the food, she's like, let me just do it. And he's like, no, this is your night. Let me cook or whatever. Then he literally, this part creeped me out a little bit. He looks at her and he says, hey, you love me. And she's like, yes, I love you. He didn't say, hey, I love you. He said, hey, you love me. Yeah, it was like weird.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to force her into this role that he wants.
Yeah, like he's like reminding her, remember, like, hey, remember you love me.
This is why we're here. This is why, kind of puts that vibe in.
Yeah, I thought that was really creepy. But yeah, so then Margaret calls her after that and says that they're all lying and everything. And then Alice wakes up to go to dance class and she sees Margaret in the mirror. And it's really creepy. Like, this is a scary movie part, right? It's
creepy. It's like,
she like smashes her head up against the mirror and she's bleeding, and then she screams and everyone in the class looks over and she looks crazy because then she looks back in the mirror and Margaret's not there. So then she starts running home
because she remembered that call, and so she had the bad feeling, runs back home.
Yeah, she gets back. This part's super creepy. Margaret's standing on the roof and she looks over at her cuts her throat and falls off the roof.
And then when she falls off, she's like running to go help her, and then all these men, Victor, like that work for Victory,
A bunch of red suit guys
come, drag her away, drag Alice away, like getting away from that. She's like screaming. She's like, Kate, this, I just saw this happen.
Yes.
Like, what? This is crazy. And then they still try to tell her, no, that didn't happen.
That didn't
She
happen.
was just sick. It's like, no,
Yeah,
she literally killed herself.
They gaslight her right after that. Jack says, she's fine. She's just at the hospital with head getting a few stitches. She fell cleaning the window.
Yeah, and it's like, no, Alice knows what she saw, but everyone pretty much is like, no, you didn't. And that's literally like probably the biggest gaslighting.
Yeah, and this is the moment where she first asks him what the Victory Project really is.
Yeah.
He gets very defensive.
Yeah.
This is a huge promotion for me. How could you do this to me? This is for us, and everything I'm doing is for us, but you can't know about it because it's very confidential. We can't even talk to anybody about it. So he gets really, really defensive here, and she can tell that there's something wrong and that Victory Project is something sketchy.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next morning after this traumatic thing happens and she witnesses Margaret just cut her throat and fall off of her house, the next morning she is going through her routine and she's starting to saran wrap the food from the leftovers from breakfast, and then she saran wraps another plate, and then she takes the saran wrap and wraps it all the way around her face a bunch of times, all around her head, and she can't breathe, and she's just letting herself not be able to breathe until finally she snaps out of it and pulls it off of her face before she dies. So this is a crazy part, and I think that she has this panic attack and Jack has to come home from work and calls a doctor to come see her at the house.
Yeah, and when the doctor comes, he pretty much is saying you're in a psychosis and all these things you've been experiencing like aren't real, so maybe we can get you on some medications.
Of course he tries to medicate her immediately
to get her. Yeah. And then she notices that in his briefcase there's Margaret's name in her file there.
Yep.
And she kind of tries to get information about her, and the doctor's like, no, like won't give her anything. She was also crazy. And so she ends up getting a hold of the file, looking at it because she's just so interested. Obviously, what happened to her, what's the truth is.
But a lot's redacted.
Everything's redacted. It's all like, yeah, so she just ends up burning it.
So then we get to after Jack comes home from work and they're getting ready for a party that he's been invited to by Frank. And he, in this moment, tells her maybe they should start trying for a baby. Because we all know the best time that you should start trying for a baby is right after your wife witnesses something traumatic, is in a supposed psychosis, and you're losing control of her. And that's when they want to get you pregnant.
Band-Aid baby, classic, to keep them reeled in. Yeah,
it's like he knows he's losing her and she's slipping out and he's losing control, so he thinks, okay, I need to get her pregnant.
Another reason for her just to shut up and go along with me.
Yeah, exactly. So that's crazy. But then they go to this party, and this is a party put on by Frank. It looks like it's a Project Victory party where they're actually going to promote Jack.
Yeah,
I thought this part
and
was
Alice is just
really
like
well
crying,
done,
which is kind of, it's like she was so upset because she kind of like, she knows that it's not a good thing.
She's like scared for him because she thinks Frank is behind all of this, and that she's scared for him and herself. And she thinks that he doesn't know what's happening. He's not believing her, but she doesn't think that he's in on it. She's scared for him.
Yeah.
And in this moment, it's really neat. The way they set up this party, it was really cool. I thought the costumes were insane. That rhinestone outfit she's wearing and that martini glass was gorgeous.
It's a Great Gatsby vibe.
It was so Great Gatsby. I loved this part. I was like, oh, I wish I was there. But I don't, because it's crazy. But also, it was wonderfully done. And the music was really cool. I thought the score in the whole movie was really well done. I really liked how the music flowed with the movie. And so I think the lighting, the cinematography, everything was well done to me in this movie. I don't know why it got such bad criticism, but to me, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I liked how it was filmed. And this is one of those scenes where I thought, wow, this is amazing. And Harry Styles is dancing, and
it's all like they're all happy for him, and she just goes in the bathrooms crying, and it's like she can't even explain exactly why, but she just knows it's not good, and she doesn't trust Frank or any of that. So
yeah, and then she's in there, she's crying, and her friend Bunny comes in and she tries to tell her what's going on, which she doesn't even know what's going on at this point, so it kind of sounds crazy when it comes out of her mouth. But she's like, there's something wrong, we need to go to headquarters together. Like, I went there. And she's like, you went there? She gets really mad and upset, and she leaves. She doesn't like
No.
what she's telling her.
Mm-mm.
I think she's scared for her in this point. And so she's like, I'm not having anything to do with that. I need to go.
Especially what we find out later. But yeah, I think looking back, it's like, yeah, you just didn't want to get involved because you know how delicate the situation is and what they do to the women that
don't comply. So then Jack gets a promotion. He's on the senior advisory board now. And when he's getting this, though, I actually thought he looked scared. When they're giving him this promotion, he's not super happy. He looks terrified. And I don't know if this is like some part that maybe we don't see what's really going on.
It's because we don't know really what their jobs were in the real world. Because we find out later that when the men went out to work, they were working in the real world. And Jack is like, I hate every minute of it.
They're like having to do more work or something.
Maybe it's like worse jobs. It's harder.
It seems like he's trying to prove his loyalty now, especially since his wife's going crazy.
Yeah, so that's
why maybe he's scared because this is not a real promotion.
I get vibes where they're having to do like bad stuff and it's like very dangerous and not morally right, and that's probably why.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, you're probably right. And so he looks terrified when he's getting this promotion, obviously, until he starts dancing. Even when he's dancing, he looks kind of terrified. Just kind of like it's really weird,
putting on a show, and that's why it's just kind of eerie because they're just all in this show, but deep down what's actually real. Yeah,
and they're just chanting like, whose world is this? Ours. And all the men are just like screaming, and you're like, this like is crazy. Yeah, this
definitely gives like cult weird vibes.
It does give cult vibes. I definitely felt like that because they're taking the Kool-Aid and they're all in a cult. So then they get back from the party where she's obviously upset, but she goes to sleep. The next day, she wakes up, she does her routine. She seems like she's doing really well at this point.
It's like
she's
back into it.
And she's getting ready for a party, an after party basically from the promotion. They want to celebrate Jack and they want to have all the people over, and they even invited Frank, who normally doesn't go to other people's houses, I guess. Yeah. So they're like, wow, you got him to come here? That's crazy. Yeah. So they all come over and she's like preparing the dinner and she's all like happy again. But then there's a moment in the kitchen where she's slicing some lemons and Frank is there. At this point, he's basically like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah, like he knows that she went to the headquarters.
Yep. So he basically says, this is fun and I'm glad you're challenging me and no one ever beats me, so good luck. And so that kind of like sparks something in her, because when they get to the dinner table, Jack's supposed to sit at the head of the table because this is his night, but she shoves him out of the way and sits down at the head of the table. And this is where it goes a little bit crazy. So she starts questioning everyone. She's like, where are you from? And then the wife's like, oh, Philadelphia. And she's like, oh, yeah. And you're from Philadelphia. And you're either from Philadelphia, Chicago, or wherever. Yeah. So all the people that live here are from the same place.
Yeah. It's kind of like they have that same program story. Like they can't remember anything else actually from who they are.
Like everyone's from 3 different places, 3 different meeting things. She's like, how did you meet your husband?
Yeah.
Oh, were you on a train and then you dropped your ticket and then he picked it up? So was I. And so was she. Yeah. And so was Penny down the lane, you know? So she's like starting to bring back these things. And the women are, I can tell they're kind of like thinking about it.
Yeah, because like I'm sure a lot of them have had these doubts maybe, but they just choose not to listen because, like we said again, the group thinking they don't want to be the outcast, the labeled as the crazy one, as they saw Margaret was. So.
Yeah, they don't want to see what happened to her happen to them. So then Frank calls her out in front of everyone and is saying like, you're crazy, you have psychosis, you're just like Margaret. Can't believe this is going to happen to you too. And everyone's all scared. And then even the wife gets up and she's like, you're ruining everything.
Yeah. And even like Jack, her husband, was just really upset at the end because he's obvious, now we know why, but he's kind of acting all sad, like, oh, you're ruining this is a great career opportunity. And
yeah, so she gets in big trouble and they all leave the house. And she tells Jack, it's okay, like, let's just leave. Let's just go. We can go just anywhere, just us. Like, get ready, let's go. And he seems to be in on it. He's getting ready. They're in the car. And then she's like, okay, let's go. And he's like, I'm sorry. And it's just horrible.
The red-suited
people come to grab the crazy girl out the car and they take her away. Yeah. And this is where she has the worst flashbacks.
Yeah. And then I think at this point,
we see where she's from.
We see that they're actually living in a modern world. and they're in this like simulation. They're all hooked up to these monitors and they're in a simulation basically. And we see the real life of where they came from. So like she was a very successful medical professional. Jack was kind of unemployed, feeling demasculated, honestly just looked kind of like a bum. Very so insecure creepy. And there's shots of him looking at a computer, like listening to Frank's programs, kind of like becoming this man, or like how to weird better your like how he kind of got like caught up in this. So and then we also see that it's clear that the men are working in the modern world. They come back and they're kind of,
they put on these little simulators and then they enter that world. So every time that the men are leaving to go to work, they're actually leaving the simulation, working really whatever jobs, we don't know what they're doing, but it's obviously not good. They have to work really hard out in the real world and then come back. So they're not even working in the simulation world. So they all actually have to leave, and they all know.
Which that was a huge twist for me. I was like, wait, what? Okay.
Yeah, big twist at this point. We all finally see that this is not real and that she's not in psychosis. Neither was Margaret. They're valid for feeling that way because this is actually crazy, and it's this whole like weird, I don't even know. This feels Black Mirror to me.
No, it totally is. And it makes sense, all these little glitches, because it literally is a simulation. So
yeah, and you can't get those perfect, apparently. So you'll like hop back and forth. And this is why I said it's kind of obsession coded, was because in Obsession, Nikki is kind of going back and forth a little bit from her real body to the freaky Nikki body. So I thought that those were kind of similar in that way, where like you don't have any autonomy in this world, but then sometimes you get like little glimpses of your old life.
You're like, wait, where am I? And then kind of snap back.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think it all just goes down to the fact it's like, so Jack knows, all of the men know, Alice didn't, and so Jack is literally restraining Alice's body into a bed.
Yeah, she has a really scary flashback where she can see her legs being dragged into the room. So she knows that he forcefully put her into this situation.
And she's like strapped on the table.
Yeah.
And so all of her memories are erased when she's inside this town victory. And every morning, like Ali said already, but the men are logging out of the simulation kind of, and then they end the day going back into the simulation.
Yep.
So it's honestly, it really feels like she is a prisoner. She had no choice. There's reasons why he did, and I think that's like the interesting point where we have our own views about like why, if it was right, if it was wrong, if he's the villain, or where he was coming from. Was he intentionally doing it? Was he malicious about it in his head,
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think?
I can't tell if there's malicious intent, because from everything that he's doing, he wants everything to be good, but obviously there's something off with him, because everything he's doing is what he wants and not necessarily what she wants, and he's forcing her to do it. So he's definitely not in the right, but I can't tell if he personally he doesn't have like hatred for her. He wants to be with her and he loves her in his own head. But that's not like what real love is. I think letting your partner choose the life that she wants to live would be real love, but there's something wrong with him, obviously. And in the real world, he's like you said, a really creepy loser. He is at home, he's greasy, gross. Like they kind of show him consuming content that's like very incel type content. It's just weird. So I think he gets these weird ideas from Frank on thing, and of course, maybe that kind of like does
mess with his sense of reality,
because there are moments in the simulation where I can tell he feels bad that he's doing this to her.
I really think he has good intentions. I don't think I don't think you should have forced her to, like maybe given her that choice. But in his mind, he thinks they were living unhappily because their relationship was kind of falling apart.
Started to fall apart, yeah.
And so then he's like, okay, well, I'm getting us a better life. Like, look.
You should like this.
Like, he's successful. Alice loves him. They're very passionately in love. And yeah, he's respected. He's a provider. It's like kind of the trad family, the trad wife.
Yep.
So
That's exactly what it is, which is completely opposite of her life in the real world because she's a medical professional who works grueling hours in the OR. And so this is not what she wanted to be. She worked really hard to get to where she is. Obviously, you can't just be in an OR sewing up people for all
yeah.
hours of the day without wanting that. And
Mm-hmm.
so we can tell that that's not who she wants to be. She doesn't want to be this trad wife that he basically forced her to be. So I don't think the intention was bad necessarily, but he's doing what he wants to do.
Yeah.
He wants her to be a certain way, and he wanted their life to look different. Because guess
Mm-hmm.
what? In the real world, she works long hours. She can't cook him meals. When she gets home, he's like, I haven't eaten. And she's like, why not?
Yeah.
Like, that's feed yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
So
that's not your
it's
job.
so it's kind of like in his head that is the way to have a happy marriage, is like that traditional role of the man working and all that, but obviously he couldn't do that in the real world.
No.
So
Yeah, and so I think that's where he majorly messed up. And I
yeah,
think he realizes that at the
obviously,
end
yeah.
there, when she comes back from basically getting her memories erased and everything, she comes inside and Jack is singing the song that she's been humming throughout the entire movie.
So it's like, oh, that's
And
why.
that triggers her completely because this is a song from the real world and he's singing it. And so the words come back and then she remembers her life in the real world. So she remembers everything. He knows that she knows. He's telling her, okay, now that you know, I don't have to lie to you anymore. And
Yeah.
it's going to be great. And look, it's like great. And we're living here.
And she
She's
was
like,
for
no,
a
this
minute,
isn't real.
right? Maybe it was like a minute, but then she snapped out of it. And then yeah, she's like, no, this isn't what I wanted.
Yep.
And I think that's the biggest thing. She didn't choose that, and he took her life away from her without her consent, honestly.
Totally.
So that's it. I think it's like, even if he could manufacture this perfect life, he had no right to choose it for her.
100%. So anyway, they get into a fight because she wants to leave. She doesn't like it, and he's saying, no, this is great now. Now you know. And she's just asking all these questions like, what about the children? Like, are they being kept here? And he says at that point, no, the children aren't real here. Yeah. Which makes it even more crazy because even when we see the children in the show, they do look really weird. They're all like super robotic as well.
Perfect and just,
but they're nothing like real children. No. Basically, all the men know, and all the men put their wives in here.
Yeah.
So they get into a fight, and he's trying to calm her down and tackle her to the floor, and she ends up grabbing a glass and bashing it over his head, and he dies. This is not good.
Yeah.
This is where everything breaks loose. Yeah. And I guess they're alerted because when a man dies in the simulation, they die in real life.
Yeah.
So
I think, and then it was Bunny who runs to the house.
Bunny comes in the house
and kind of tells her, she's one of the wives, actually probably the only wife that knew about it, and she chose it.
She's like, what, you knew? This is a huge twist because the whole time we think no girls know.
Yeah. And like Bunny, totally all the times where Bunny was just kind of stepping away and kind of making her question it and doubt it too. It's kind of like, oh wow, she must have just been afraid to mess with everything, which makes sense because it's crazy. But
yeah. And then we find out that the reason why Bunny knows about this, and she actually chose this, she chose it because her children in the real world died, and she gets to live with her fake children that are real here.
Yeah.
So that's like a really deep topic there. It's like, would you, if you had the chance to live with your children again and they were dead in the real world, would you?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a hard choice.
It's just because I feel like it's really hard to distinguish. For me, it's like, hey, what is actually real? A lot of things are just products of our mind. I don't know. Sometimes I get little moments where I'm like, wait, what is happening?
Even really living here.
Exactly. So if you went through like a trauma that hard, it's hard to say like, what would you actually do? But knowing it was fake is also interesting.
Fake. Yeah.
But sometimes that grief is probably the worst grief ever. So like, honestly, I might.
I probably would.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even though it is crazy and it's not real, it's better than That's hard. That's
Yeah,
hard.
it's
I don't
really
know.
hard. I
I
don't
might do it.
know.
And you can't know that you would do it unless you're in that situation.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's a really
Exactly.
interesting point. And you see how Alice accepts that. She's not as mad when she kind of sees that that's
Yeah,
why
she's
she
like,
knows
okay.
and why she's choosing to live there
Yeah.
in that reality. But she tells her, you need to go
Yeah.
now because the people outside in the real world, they're coming to kill you in your real body because they can't kill her in the fake land. For some reason, the men, when they die in the simulation, they die outside, but if the women do, they don't.
So they're obviously going to get revenge, which that's what makes me think men were doing some sketchy stuff. Like if they die, then it's like a huge deal, you know? So that's why there's like a big consequence and why they would want the wife to die as well.
Yeah, and they also had to sign like a lot of confidentiality things before going into the simulator. Yeah. So there's something weird going on that we don't ever find out like what it is, but we can kind of all guess that it's something really shady out on the outside. But yeah, so she's racing the clock now because whoever these people are, they're coming to kill her in the real world. She needs to get to headquarters so that she can go back to her real body.
And then escape from that. Yeah. Yep. So basically it's just this whole chase, everything.
She runs outside.
And during this whole time, Frank's wife, she kind of is like, okay, I think I've had enough. She knew, so she also knew about it the whole time, which is another wife. And I don't know exactly why, but it seems like she just, I'm done with this. This has gone too far. So she actually ends up killing Frank.
Yes. So and he's like the leader of this whole thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what's going to happen now? Because these people are still chasing after her, and I'm sure they're still, maybe they're not in the real world now that Frank's gone.
Yeah. So that's
we don't ever know.
We don't know. So yeah, then Alice eventually does make it to the headquarters, touches the glass, and
then she wakes up in the real world because we don't see her wake up, but we hear her gasp for air. So we know she made it back to her body. We just don't know if after when she wakes up, are these people still coming after her? It maybe not because Frank's dead. Which, like you said, I really was confused in this part.
That was really crazy. The twist was, didn't see that one coming, and it was really good though. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I did like the movie a lot.
Okay, so we just talked about how on Rotten Tomatoes it was 38%.
Horrible.
It was horrible. But then with the audience, it was a 74%. So I feel like that's like,
it's an average movie. Yeah. But I don't think it was some
terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible, and it also wasn't like a blockbuster film hit of the year.
I think maybe a lot of it with like the twist at the end, maybe how it was kind of relatable. They could see the parallels, dynamics, and that's why I liked it. So
I think that if you're looking at it from a critic's view, the critiquing of the film might not have been where it should be, but as a viewer, like you said, it makes you think. It's a little scary. It has twists. And I think overall they would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
And then I do want to do every week when we do a movie, I want to do the Bechdel test. So the Bechdel test is whether a movie has, number one, these are the rules, at least 2 named women. So there has to be 2 characters that have names, not just like they're in the background. And then they have to talk to each other about something other than a man in the movie.
Yeah.
And so those are the 3 rules. And it says it does pass the Bechdel test.
Which is surprising.
Because they do have named women and they do talk to each other about other things concerning not just a man.
Like Margaret's missing child, Alice's suspicions, escaping the simulation. So they do. It's not just talking about their husbands.
But you'll be surprised, most of the movies we go through, it's pretty rare that any movie passes the Bechdel test. So this is actually kind of rare that this one does, because
especially when it's structured around men.
Because but that's why this film is cool, because it's kind of breaking that apart and showing how bad that is. And so that's why it passes the Bechdel test, but most movies don't. It's actually crazy. There's actually more films that don't pass. We'll go through it on each one, but I did want to bring that up. So this is cool. This one passes the Bechdel test. So if you're looking for a movie that does that, this is one. And I think now at the end of each movie review that we'll do, we're going to give our own rating.
So every week too that we do a movie review, we'll do like our rating and we'll do it like a percentage. So
yes. So for this movie, for Don't Worry Darling, We're going to give it an 84%. We kind of came together on this. Basically, the reason why we gave it the 84 is because we do think that it is a good film. It does create a lot of topics that we can talk about, mental health, the psychosis thing going on, like all that was really cool to me. But like Alex said, it's just really not our genre.
Yeah,
Love
the
it.
sci-fi flashbacks kind of, I just, the, yeah, simulation vibes kind of turned me off a little bit. I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
So that's why I wasn't 100% like loving every aspect of it. But
and I didn't really love all the acting.
Yeah.
But it's not too bad to the point where I'm bringing it to 34. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that that's kind of the reason that we're giving it an 84. If you are interested in the movie and you want to leave us any comments about it, please do. If you have any different takes on this movie, I want to hear them. I want to know what you guys think about this movie. I know it's kind of an older one, so go back and watch it if you haven't. And then next week, we're going to do another movie review. So if you think of a movie that you really want to deep dive into and you want to hear us talk about, leave a comment under the podcast, either on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We'll be checking all of them, but leave a comment of which movie you want us to dive into, and we'll do it the next week.
Yeah, we're excited. We hope you liked this little change, and we look forward to hearing back any feedback.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.